Yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't something I consciously did after writing The Girls, but there's something about the short story format where I just found myself more drawn to contemporary topics, and hopefully writing about them in a non-polemical way, or like after school special, like, movies of the week where there's like an issue that's dealt with. Like I wanted to see if I could write about this ambient cultural moment without being too moralistic or without a kind of message. I don't know, there was something that felt actually comfortable to me about writing from a man's point of view. I think part of it is it's like a viewpoint that you're forced into a little bit naturally just by living in this society, in this moment. It's like you have to spend a lot of time imagining what's going on inside of a man's brain. So it didn't feel totally foreign to try to imagine motivations, especially behind things, even terrible things, trying to figure out sort of what does the consciousness look like behind those decisions. I don't know, there's also something that can be really fun about inhabiting like a different consciousness, and especially like a immoral consciousness, or a person who's doing, like bad things. It can be fun to think about what that looks like. Certain spots blank, especially if it's, something, an incident, whatever I could imagine and write, like in that story, this kid has done something bad at boarding school and gotten kicked out. And you never really know exactly what the kid did. And there was like a version where I started to maybe play with, I should name it, and played around with an incident. But I felt like no matter how terrible I made the incident or whatever, it was always much more powerful for a reader to fill in the incident. That people's imagination is, in a way, much more powerful because it's subjective. Whatever they imagine is the worst thing. And then there's also some element of collusion on the reader's part to, I think with that story especially, like how easy it is to fill in that blank means that you're very familiar with the story. It's like something that's happened so much. And that to me is like another interesting layer. Thought about it a lot in The Girls is, what are the limitations of a younger consciousness, and how can you play with that? How can you give yourself like pressure valve releases on that? There can be something suffocating about how limited a younger narrator's perspective is. And then in Marion, because it's a short story, I think the pressure release isn't as much of a question. But I think it's interesting. It's like, there's something about the way younger people see the world, which I remember really vividly, which is that everything had this intense like aura around it. And you're so thin-skinned in a way, and that's a really lovely, interesting place to write from, because it's like all sensation and all imagery. So yeah, there's something really, really nice about that. I think that's something I am drawn to myself in stories. Some kind of like mordancy, or I don't know. Yeah, I guess dark comedy is the right word. I think it's like almost similarly a pressure release from certain things, which I like. And yeah, sometimes things just make me laugh, and I really enjoy writing into that.